So when I was on this baseball trip and in Indiana, we were driving home, me and Rowan. We're like, oh boy, we're pretty hungry. We're in Ohio. It's the in the Ohio stage of the drive. And in a weird twist, we stopped in the same exact place to eat on the way down as we did on the way home, not even meaning to. But we went to an Arby's.
Yeah.
We pulled up at the same time as this big pickup truck pulled up. Two brothers got out of this pickup truck. Two Ohio, they were for sure 100% brothers. Not twins, but brothers. Two of the biggest guys I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they were so big, they both had their own table.
Yeah, that's
like, they ordered all their food and sat near me and Rowan, but like where me and Rowan sat on one table with like our food both on, they each were like, we're going to need.
They need space.
They're going to need their own tables. And I was like, that's Ohio.
Never seen that
That's
before.
Ohio.
Only in Ohio you
Only
see
in
that.
Ohio. Yeah.
The
They meant business. Super nice. They were like, please get in front of us. Please. You're not gonna order as much as that.
Right.
Trust us.
And
I'm
Arby's
like,
takes a
thank
while.
you. Yeah.
To make whatever amount of roast beef those fellows needed.
Oh, they needed it all, man. They needed it all.
Yeah, whole table full.
Yeah, to me, I guess when I get to the point, if I get to a point where I'm like, I need my own full table, then I should probably be like, oh, God, I guess.
Yeah, that's really when you know.
Yeah.
That's really when you know it's time to make a lifestyle change.
I don't know. I could go for a table of Arby's right now.
Oh, man, they didn't care. They ponied up to those tables. They were owning it. They didn't care.
And like, we go to lunch together, but we cannot sit together because of space.
They weren't, and I'm telling you, like Rod Allen for the Tigers, the old school Tigers broadcaster would call somebody like country strong. These guys were country strong. They were both like 6'3" and just gigantic. And I was like, those are two brothers that you don't want to cross.
Do they always dine together at Arby's?
I feel like yes.
You know, they always have
I feel
travel
like
together.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Arby's
I like
means
dying
a lot.
together at Arby's.
Arby's means a
We
lot
ate
to
in there.
Ohioans. Like,
Really?
honestly.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll tell you my
Family
personal
dinner?
Ohio
Okay, yeah,
Arby's
please.
stuff. Okay, so first of all,
Yes.
I worked at Arby's.
Yeah.
That was one of my first jobs. I worked there, so I was like just a young Ohioan making my start. You always start with beef. So
Sure.
like did that. My grandma ate at Arby's every week until like all her friends that she went to Arby's died around her with.
So like they had like a group
That would always go to Arby's.
Huh?
And that was like their thing. And then like one by one, my grandma just like outlived all her friends. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Yeah.
So she couldn't go to Arby's anymore. I remember my
history
dad
of
got her gift
Arby's.
certificates and he's like, she can't even use them. All her friends are dead.
Oh,
I was like, that's
so
sucks.
sad.
Oh, my
I was
God.
like, oh yeah, but Arby's it does. It means a lot to Ohioans.
Yeah, I guess so. These brothers, they dine together.
The roast beef and the curly fries.
Arby's was one of the first foods for me because obviously, like, I have kids. They're really picky. They don't like eat a lot of different stuff, and obviously, it comes from somewhere. I am the exact same way, but I can always remember my dad going to Arby's, right? And so one of these times, I was like, "Just gonna do it. Just gonna try this. This is wild." And like that was one of the first times I was like, you know what? Let me try something totally out of left field for me as a kid. And I was like, oh man, I love this. I was like, I love this.
Yeah, I like a beef and cheddar.
Yeah, I never went back.
And I had to turn my back on it after a bad experience.
Oh yeah, you.
And
did.
like that, my beef and cheddar moments were so passionate. It was like, it was so good.
That is an extremely delicious sandwich.
It was
It's not bad for
when
what.
done well.
Yeah.
coming off a root canal, so I wasn't able to chew, and like that was the first thing I was gonna get, and it was the worst
Choice.
I couldn't even take a bite of it. The display, and I've turned my back ever since.
Such passion for
It's heartbreaking.
Arby's. and
It's
that's really-
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, like you mentioned it though, you're like when done right.
When done right. Yeah.
You know, because
It's a
I
magical-
have, unfortunately, just like any fast food place that you can go to where you just made the wrong choice in the one that you've went to. I went to one and it was green.
Green.
Yeah.
It can happen. I think Jason just needs a little more forgiveness in his heart. Come on back to Arby's.
I know. Yeah,
No.
we're gonna try and get you back.
Roast beef and Arby's a high stakes game, man.
I know.
That's
It
a lot
is.
of emotion.
Well, so I put the sauce on there, and I lifted that bun, and I was like,
Yeah, saw it.
it looks
Something's wrong.
this looks green.
Believe me, it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Turn my back.
Oh,
I think about it still. I'm like, oh man.
Well, I mean, it's such an intimate experience there because you do add the sauces yourself. You know, you do.
you do.
You
I
wait
took
on
the
it.
time.
You wait on them to slice the beef. You're waiting on all this stuff. You're really into the process of it. It takes about 20 extra minutes.
You really can.
And I wait till I get home and I draw the shades and I lay it all out on the table. Like
Lay it down gently.
It's passionate. I'm
Oh
telling
my
you.
God.
I love it. when
I will just sometimes
experience
eat it in the car.
But when you get that wrapper and it's not got wrinkles on it, and it's silver and shining, and you just know that
Seems like an Arby's commercial.
I know we're not sponsored.
No.
The last time I had Arby's, I had jury duty, and that was my lunch choice. I was like, well,
Solid.
it was near the courthouse. I was like,
Solid.
That is the funniest Lisa Way day ever.
I know. That's what will drive Lisa to try Arby's.
Right.
Jury duty. She had to be in jury duty. She's like, I got one Arby's story.
that's it. That was the
That's
last
it.
time.
Last time I had jury duty, so
I
maybe
drove
again.
off and went and sat in the parking lot and ate my
He
Arby's.
was basically a captive.
Yeah. Roast beef and justice. That's a hell of a day.
That's a show I'd watch.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
Roast beef and justice.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, that should be a show where that's the names of the two cops in it.
I'm roast beef.
And I'm justice.
Could be
Al-
those two brothers I saw.
Al, did you have to do jury duty at the same place or
Probably the
yeah,
county.
is it still there? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like right across the street, kind of. I mean,
You
it's
know
not
what?
too far down.
I am not sure.
It's got the
no,
old
yes,
school
I,
sign.
You're talking about the one with the old
Think-
school sign.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
got the
man.
old school Arby
Listen.
sign.
Yeah.
Can I tell
I was
you this
like,
right
I'm going
now?
there.
If I see the old school, like the hat,
Yeah.
if I see the
It
big
was
hat
that.
with the lights, that's enough for me to be like, I didn't plan on this. This was not planned, but that's an old school hat sign.
That's an important Arby's. Like that Arby's, like if that Arby's goes
Important
wrong
Arby's.
for a juror and they go back to decide a case, upset about their meal,
Like if they got a green one.
right?
Oh,
And then that affects their mood and their decision for that's an important Arby's.
it sure is. That's why it has the old school sign still.
I just think that if I were trying like a murder case and I'm a juror
Yeah.
and I want to go get a beef and cheddar at lunch and
Yeah.
then my beef and cheddar is screwed up and I go back,
Kill
I'm
him, he
like,
died.
Send him away for life. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm hungry.
That's true. I mean,
It could have
most
changed the whole course of the trial.
That's important. That's an important like chapter in justice that you don't understand. Like, what are these jurors eating for lunch?
Right. What if you've done something terrible, but I'm your lawyer?
Right.
And I'm like, listen, don't you worry. I've got a plan. We're getting out of this. I'm just going to hit Arby's real quick
Okay.
for lunch, and then we'll meet back. I'll be here at 1 o'clock, and we'll wrap this whole thing up. And then I have a terrible experience. I'm like, God!
Right.
And then I'm like, I don't even care if you die.
Right.
I don't even care.
You're like, I got a bellyache. I haven't looked at your case at all.
It is funny because the attorney in the case at the end, because the guy that lost, the defense or whatever, they were like, why did you, do that? Why did you?
I would have been
And-
like bad beef and cheddar.
That's it. I don't know
You
if I
want
would've
the
said that.
honest to God? Can you handle the truth? I'd say.
All the jury, but this is the thing, though. I know myself, if I was on a jury and you were like, can I explain why I punched that man? I had a bad experience at Arby's.
And I think people would understand.
And I'd be like, yes.
Yeah.
I do understand him.
That's important. If I were a lawyer, I'd be like, what are these jurors having for lunch? Huh?
You'd have to
What are they
ask.
having? What are they
well
having?
fed.
Yeah.
I'd check
Yep.
the sandwiches. I'd see how silvery and how perfectly.
That's how you know.
Yeah, I know.
You know when the silver looks like it's been in somebody's pocket. That you're about to have a bad rodeo.
Oh, yeah.